Are you eating?
Oh yeah. There we go. It's too funny. Too freaking funny. All right, let's stretch out a little bit. Get my notes in order. Let's see here. I'll tell you what. It was a draining show.
Dude, that tag match was brutal. Hey, we're gonna have 2 out of 3 falls with 4 of the most boring fucking guys.
I can't wait to discuss all that.
Charisma vacuums. Right, Kitty?
All right.
You're like part of the show now.
Absolutely. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Tonight's show was brought to me by Hooters Wings and Oreos Post Malone cookies. Have you tried these Oreos yet?
No, anything with his name on it.
Dude, I'll tell you what. A couple people mentioned me right to these to me when they came out, and I was like, nah, I'm like over the Oreo thing. And then I saw them the other night, and I got one of these 4 packs. They're the most amazing Oreos ever made.
Did you have the Coca-Cola ones?
No, I
Were,
don't like Coke.
No, they were so good.
Oh boy, oh boy. We're gonna be
Kitty,
what's up?
You gonna eat?
We got
Yeet?
Magic Mike's in the house, Mike King's in the house, Tim Mendeville, Justin Coriel. What's up, everybody? I'm gonna eat a cookie, have a little sip of wine before we get into a long show.
I got my Monster and vodka. Watermelon Monster and vodka.
Did you add the vodka or it came in it?
No, I added it.
Oh, all right. I'll say.
Yeatleys. I'm going to drink it neatly.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. I give it to the cat.
Cheers, brother. Cheers.
Cheers.
Kitty.
Take a pound.
All right. All right, so Royal Rumble 2025 in front of 70,000 people in Indianapolis.
Say what you want, man, but they're still packing them in, baby.
Yo, for real. I mean, I'll say it again. And as we are basically on, Super Bowl Eve, as we're the week before the Super Bowl, and I asked this question last year: is the WWE bigger than the NFL?
I'm interested to see what they do this year, because honestly, what they did in Philly last year was on par.
Yeah.
What they do in Las Vegas this week, they're looking to be the big event, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a question I'm going to throw up on my Facebook page, possibly tomorrow. Should WrestleMania have a halftime show? Because, this year's Super Bowl halftime show is Kendrick Lamar. And I'm trying to figure out who in their right mind booked that, because I don't think anybody wants to see that.
Dude, I don't get the whole why it's got to be hip hop and crap pop every year.
I don't get it.
Like, I get, wanting to change it up, but I don't know. Bring in a good old rock band for once.
Yeah, hello. Can we see Metallica maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, like something like what was it? I remember when the Stones did it,
Mm,
and they just brought down the house, and it's like,
I don't get it. I just
nah.
don't get it. So, but what I did get was Royal Rumble tonight, and the show kicked off as always with the ladies Royal Rumble, and the number one drawing the number one card was Io Sky, and coming in number two was Liv Morgan, and I was actually kind of surprised by that, but I was not surprised by Io Sky because I kind of figured for some reason that she was going to have. I predicted the longest run in this year's
Hmm.
Royal Rumble. She probably had about the third or fourth longest run in the Rumble this year.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that pairing for
Mm-hmm.
the opener because you can't go wrong with them too.
Nah,
Sky always puts on a great show, and Liv, I couldn't stand in the beginning, but she's grown on me.
I think in the last years, she really elevated way beyond what I think anybody expected. Maybe probably even herself in the office.
Yeah, she's grown into her role. So I actually thought that was a solid two to start with.
Now, number three, which I thought was a bit of a surprise, was Roxanne Perez from NXT, who obviously is getting a huge major push.
Yeah, I think she's about to get her call up, and so that's I think that's why they gave her the shot. And I think she had a great showing. I think she
Absolutely.
did well for herself.
I'll say this. I mean, out of the women's had quite a few NXT um, participants in there, and I
Hmm.
thought she was without a doubt the best one.
Yeah. We'll get into that when we get to them.
All right, next up, coming in at number four was Lyra Valkyr, which I'm not a fan. I just not a fan.
Lyra Valkyria is just. I think they wanted her to to be the replacement for Becky Lynch,
Mm,
but I don't think she's clicked yet.
no, not at all. Not at all.
Good worker, but you know,
Bill says he thinks Io and Liv tied for the longest time in the Rumble over Bailey, than whichever got eliminated after the other tonight. Yeah, I think there was like a tie or something there. There was something.
they actually said EO was in there longest.
Okay. Um, next up was Chelsea Green at number five.
I love her. She plays her part so well. And
Magic Mike loves who?
Lyra.
Lyra.
Um,
Not me.
yeah, like I said, with Chelsea, she's not the greatest worker in the world, but she plays her part
Oh,
so well.
absolutely. Absolutely. Next up, B Fab, who I'm not really too familiar with. And I thought to myself, this was the first participant. I said to myself, why?
She's she's awful. um, I think I'm going to say I felt like there was some way in the women's. There was some wasted spots.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of them.
Yeah. I feel in a spot like this
Mm-hmm.
where even, I hate to say it, with some of the NXT talent they brought in, and I understand what they're doing. They're trying to give these people a
Mm-hmm.
chance at the big show. But I think from a fan standpoint, I think people would enjoy seeing somebody like a Trish Stratus come back.
Uh, I I will say this: the women's Rumble didn't have the surprises that you would hope for. I think they missed the ball on a couple ones.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a couple people they could have had come out, and they just, for one reason or another, didn't.
yeah. And like Bill said, and which is what we're trying to say, there are definitely some waste spots. They could use some more talented women or star power at least. I agree.
I agree. Yeah, B Fab is, she's one of them ones I just don't get why she still got a job.
There was rumors of this. Uh, AJ Lee. I was expecting.
I was hoping
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed seeing that over a couple of the others they brought in.
After B Fab, there was Ivy Nile.
I'm a big fan of Ivy. She's got a lot of potential. I like her with Chad Gable.
Hmm.
I think she had a good showing.
I agree, but I again see this is where I'm torn because on one hand I feel it could be a wasted spot, but not as wasted as the B Fab spot. But also too, I feel there could have been something. There could have been other like she's under Chad Gable.
Hmm.
She's getting her spot, but she still needs way more time. I think as a not as the in-ring talent,
Hmm.
as the character talent.
So I'll say this. Um, Actually, go through and I'll get to my
Okay.
point because one of the competitors is going to emphasize my point on the whole battle royal.
Okay. After Ivy Nile, we had Zoe Stark, and now Zoe is part of what's that group called? The three of them.
Pure Fusion Collective.
The worst name in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. They're fusion and they're collecting,
Yeah, I don't. Worst name ever.
but I like
Um,
Zoe.
you know what? The Zoe, and then the other one, eh. And then there's the third one, the Sonya, was it Sonya Deville or whatever? She's like the
Yeah.
one I feel is definitely the standout of the bunch. Um, Next up after Zoe, we had another NXT participant, Lash Legend.
Yeah. Now Lash is a decent worker, big
Yeah,
girl, very strong. Um, I was
tremendous,
actually
tremendous upside.
I was actually surprised they didn't. Her partner wasn't in there.
Which is
Um, Miss Jackson, because they've been on SmackDown, so I'm
okay.
wondering if she got hurt because they've been challenging for the women's tag title,
Hmm.
and I think they were about to get a call up, so I think she may have gotten hurt. Um, but yeah, you know what? She is everything that Jade Cargill should be.
Mm. Since you brought her up, I was going to mention her later. I totally expected her return tonight.
I didn't because there's no payoff in it at this point. And to be honest, I think they're reevaluating her at this point.
I mean, I know she's been. I've heard they had her. They have her at the training center working with her. But the fact that they didn't bring her back tonight
Mm-hmm,
speaks
doesn't
volumes.
well. I mean, she's been in the sport this long. If she hasn't got it by now, I don't think she's going to get it. And I'll be honest with you, I think it's part who they teamed her with.
Hmm. Okay.
Because Bianca and Naomi, they're not that good.
I think. Bianca's really good.
No, Bianca's Miss. I got to get my shit in. Doesn't sell. Doesn't know how to work as a heel or a face. What? What? Just
I've never seen her as a heel.
no. She doesn't. No, that's she works as a heel as a face. Watch her match and watch how she works. She does not know how to be a face. She doesn't sell. She never sells,
Hmm.
and she just is very awkward in a lot of her stuff. And Naomi, I just think for someone who's been in the sport so long, she's just not where she should be. I feel like putting Cargill with her made her even worse because
Hmm.
I don't feel that she could have learned from her. She would have benefited more from being with someone like Natalia or even Charlotte Flair.
Well, yeah, but they're not gonna. I mean, I could see them maybe doing a team with Natalia, but not Charlotte. I mean, they have her set as a singles.
Yeah, but maybe mentoring her, just. But go ahead.
All right, so after last legend was Bianca Belair,
Yep,
and then we had what's it? What's her name? Shia Bosler.
Shayna
Shayna.
Baszler.
I can't even read my own writing. She's part of that wonderful named collection agency over there. Next up was Bailey.
Always puts on a great show.
Hmm. And then we had Sonya Deville to round out the faction. Um, then next up was Maxine Dupree.
Dupree.
Came in and she had a nice spot instantly, and I forget who she eliminated.
She's improving a lot, and she's got a good look to her. I'm interested to see where she goes.
She was in and out though. She came in, got a couple things in. She
Hmm.
got a nice
She
elimination on somebody. I forget who it was. Let me
Yeah,
see.
she knows her limitations,
Ivy
so
Nile.
that
She
didn't surprise.
eliminated.
Yeah, that didn't surprise me. She knows her limitations.
Yeah, and then she was out.
Yeah,
Um, then next up we had Naomi.
another one who like just wants to get her stuff in, and God forbid she tells a story.
Wait, let me see this. Mike says, "I think you're off base on this one, Santa. Which are you talking about, Mike?"
Yeah, I rounded the bases 4 times. All right, just go on. It's Mike.
All right. Um, all right. After Naomi, we had Jada Parker from NXT.
Now Jada Parker is. I like Jada. I don't think she was ready, and I definitely don't think she was ready for the Rumble.
Yeah, agreed.
I think her spot was where Lash Legend's partner was supposed to be.
Okay.
Because I know Jada's not ready for a call up, and she didn't make no sense coming out because
That's what I see. That's what
she's
I
not even
mean.
one. Yeah, she's not even one of the more popular NXT girls. She's up and coming, but there was I think she was a total audible.
Hmm. Yeah, I think there could have been a better. No offense to her, but I think there could have been better audibles.
Yeah,
After her was Piper Niven.
love Piper. I that's one girl who pisses me off. They push Nia Jax, but Piper is 10 times the worker, better on the mic. That should be Piper Niven's push.
I was expecting a giant matchup at some. I was hoping for Nia and Piper to get in it, but
They keep like, and this is like one of the frustrating things for someone like me who like watches the shows and watches the talent. She is so head and shoulders above Nia work wise.
hmm
And like I said, that should be her push. because pushing Nia it's like pushing a boulder up a hill. It's just going to go nowhere. Literally.
Well, after Piper, we had Natalia. Now, was this her return tonight as well, or was she to come back over the last couple weeks?
She's still around. I mean, Natalia's on the downside of her career.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, she's done it all. She's a great hand in the locker room. She's going to be a front office with her
I can see
husband.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, her husband's already there.
All right. Well, next up, somebody that Frank I know is a huge fan of, fresh off of her TA contract and newly signed to the WWE, Jordan Grace.
Totally wasted her in this. Um, got a great crowd reaction.
Absolutely.
Her work rate is great. I would have, if I was booking this, the way I would have done it was I would have had Nia come out for this and had her pick up like she did with Piper Niven
Mm-hmm.
and eliminate Nia. So here's why I think it was a waste. She's got star written all over her. I
Now,
mean,
is she coming in right onto the main roster now, or?
I can't see them wasting her in NXT at this point. Um, she's a hell of a worker, got a great ring presence. They should have showcased her. I'm not saying she had to win.
Yeah, you know what?
That little like
They gave her, you know what? They gave her a little showcase, but I feel like they gave her a bigger showcase last year.
they did, and that's what didn't make sense. My problem is like I said, they didn't give her the right showcase. You have, you know, Nia coming in there, and that would have been the perfect elimination. It would have got her over with the crowd even more.
Mm-hmm.
And because you seen the crowd was into her,
Yeah.
and they wanted to, because they booed the hell out of her when she got eliminated.
It was it was weird. It was like, she came in, she was like a little powerhouse, got a couple eliminations in, and then she was just kind of like part of the shuffle and the
They
flutter.
blended her in.
Yeah, and then got eliminated. So, all right.
Son of a bitch.
Gotcha, huh?
Yeah.
So much for Santa's elves.
Oh, that cat's a jerk.
Next up was Mission. What's her name?
Michan.
Mishan.
That's one I. They push her 1 week. The next week they job her. They push her, jobber, push her, jobber.
They change her name. They don't change her name. Yeah. Next up was probably, I'm going to say, maybe the biggest female pop of the Rumble, the return of Alexa Bliss.
Yeah. I'm not a huge Alexa Bliss fan because of her size.
Yeah.
And she doesn't kind of know how to work her size. But she got a great pop. I loved watching her and Liv go back and forth.
Yeah.
I like the idea of them two feuding.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have a problem with her coming back. I think that's where she needs to be. And probably in a feud with Liv.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I think that would be perfect for her. But she kind of like came out there and just blended right in, man. Like,
yeah,
she disappeared. She was like a Houdini.
Quick. Like
yeah.
she had a couple of quick eliminations she got in, and then instant blend in.
And this is my problem every year with the women's Rumble. It's almost like they don't understand the nuances of a battle royal, and they kind of all just like go to the corners and blend in with each other.
I you know what? I between the Royal Rumble and three ways and four ways and all
Mhm.
these other matches they do, I hate the blended. Oh, you just see bodies laying under the
So,
turnbuckles or on the outside somewhere.
so here's my problem with the Rumbles, especially the women's. To quote Jim Cornette, lazy booking. Follow me.
Okay.
You get the first two in.
Yep.
Third one comes in, gets in all her stuff,
Hmm.
blends in.
Yeah.
Every person, it was the same formula for every single person. Come in, get it ain't like the old days where you'd have a couple people, they come running in, they beat the snot out of them. Nobody got the snot beat out of them. And
Well,
they,
you're saying about blending in. You know who I felt blended in instantly after the first minute they were in there, and they were in there for almost the whole thing? Liv Morgan.
yeah, yeah,
She was non. She had the opening
the,
with EO, and after
yeah.
that, she was non-existent the whole time.
The only time, well, no, when
Raquel came in.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. The formula is just lazy. It's just a rinse and repeat. Like the heels don't team up on the faces, you know. So you had Liv out there. Like I said, you had Liv and EO starting.
Hmm.
So whoever came in next should have kind of, but it's like everybody comes in and gets their stuff in, and then like nobody's teaming up until later. It was just like really lazy because that's all you saw.
Yeah. All right. So after Alexa Bliss, we had Zelina Vega.
I like Zelina, but she's just too small.
I don't even think that. I mean, it's just there was just no.
No, she has no nothing behind her.
They changed up her look because she's going over
Mm,
to SmackDown now, and it was just nothing.
yeah.
No oomph. No charisma. Next up, who I think you're a fan of, Candice LeRae.
Dude, that crowd got like so disappointed. Like as like when they announced her, you literally heard people like getting up to go to the bathroom for a minute. She's like her husband, man.
Who's your husband?
Johnny Gargano.
Oh, okay.
Her and her husband are like charisma vacuums. They like suck the fun out of a room. And like literally like I said it to you. I was
Yeah,
like, the crowd just got so disappointed.
yeah,
It was like going to a show that's promising you John Cena, and then like freaking Scott Steiner shows up.
Well, after Johnny's in the house. What's up, brother? Um, After Candice LeRae, we had Stephanie Valkyr, another NXT participant, enter.
Uh, very Stephanie Valkyr is friggin' great. I don't think she showcased herself well in this battle royal, which is a shame
Not at all.
because her and Jillia,
And
I think are like fantastic, and they just didn't get. They would have been better off in the earlier part of the battle royal.
the see, this is where. How about this? Let's throw it around another. And I don't even know if there's enough talent to do this, but instead of doing the Royal Rumble where we have the men and the women's, and then we have a couple matches in between.
Mm-hmm.
Why not, if they're going to do this NXT, why not do NXT Rumbles instead of blending them in with the main roster? Do separate NXT Rumbles for the men and women, and now they're going to have Evolve. So mix the Evolve with the NXT, and then do the main roster.
Yeah, I missed that. What's going on? I know they bought Evolve.
Yeah,
What do they got
they
a new show or something?
new show starting March something on Tubi, new weekly show.
Okay.
I don't know if now Evolve was the federation that Gabe from Ring of Honor was booking. He ran or owned or
Mm-hmm.
booked or whatever. But and I know Gabe works for WWE now. Um, so I don't know if Evolve is going to be a whole new thing like NXT or just the name of a show. But I think it's going to be a whole new thing because I know they got this new, what's it, the WWE ID or something. So maybe it's going to
Yeah,
be something like that with that talent since it's on Tubi.
possibly.
Yeah.
But nah, they don't have enough talent. But like I said, if you're gonna bring in, you
Who's
got to you got to spotlight them.
somebody's ringing my doorbell?
Who's
Lovely.
ring, who's ringing the
Yeah,
doorbell this late at night?
exactly. My neighbor.
Uh, grab the gat.
uh what did Johnny say? I haven't watched it yet. The first night, even worth the the first night. Well, there's only one night, but I think you mean the first match. I mean, it's the Royal Rumble. It's a fun show. Of course, it's worth watching.
Hmm.
But don't let us spoil anything for you.
Too late.
So hang on, turn the sound down so you don't hear us talking. Just watch us. All right. So after Stephanie Valkyr was the big, probably the biggest surprise, Trish Stratus for the women.
Total waste of a spot.
Didn't get a big pop.
No, because
Half decent.
it was one of them things like, oh yeah, it's her again. Because you know she's not going to win it, and at her age, it's kind of like I said, one of the draws of the Rumble is the surprises,
Yeah.
and that's just like, that's like, oh, Christmas, oh, socks, they're nice.
I would never compare Trish Stratus to a pair of socks. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. He's
Uh,
like he's not even following up. All right. After Trish Stratus, we had our big girl Raquel Rodriguez came in, made the save, and made a couple quick eliminations, and helped her best friend live out for a little bit.
I don't know what her deal was. I don't know if after she got sick, she lost because she's just lost quite a few steps since NXT. Because I'll be honest, I thought at one point she was going to be the next Rhea Ripley.
All right, let me ask you this because I was out of the loop for a long time. I know she was in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Was she ever on the main roster, or she when she came back recently as Liv's bodyguard or whatever?
No, she came up from NXT, was on the main roster, was
Okay.
looking good,
Okay.
and she's got some kind of disease. And when she came back, um, she was a little thicker than she was,
Okay.
and she just seems
She's
to
a
have lost.
big girl.
Well, she was in a lot better shape. Like I said, she was really jacked in NXT. If you look at some of the NXT stuff, watch some of her NXT stuff. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So I can't put my finger on it, but she's lost a step, which is a shame because I think she had a great upside at one point.
You know what? Like when I instantly the first time I saw her was when she came back a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first time seeing her. But I see, like almost like a pattern that they have where they have Raquel, even Rhea. It's like they're trying to have somebody like China. You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
China was such a iconic figure
Yeah.
and is beloved to this day. So it's almost like they're still trying to almost like replace her. I don't want to say honor her because I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it's that. I think it's more like a
I don't
replacement.
even think it's that. I just think they're going for that look
That look, yeah.
because people really enjoy it, and yeah, I just don't know what happened to her. That's why I think Lash Legend is probably going to be the next one to sneak into that
She's a
mode.
big girl too, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
she used to play for the WNBA.
okay. Yeah, I mean she looks like to be at least 6 foot too.
Yeah.
Coming up next was somebody who I think also is about 6 foot. She's a big girl. The return of the Queen, Charlotte Flair.
Um, always looks good. Always has a presence. Um, even just coming out, you know, she's like, I'm there.
Yeah,
Good showing. Um, they put her in later, I think, because they wanted to see how her knee's going to hold up, and you know,
she's been out for how long? It's been a year, over a year.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
She's very injury prone,
Yeah.
so I think they're going to start being a lot more careful on what they do with her.
Hmm. All right. Well, next up was NXT champion Julia.
Yes, another one who I just think she got lost in. There was just too many people in there for her to show off what she can do.
Yeah.
Because her and Io could have really went and did some good things in there. They'd have
Hmm.
let them.
All right. Next up is your favorite, the one and only at number 29, Nia Jax.
Thank goodness she was 29. She would have been better at number 41. You know.
Talk to you later, Gianni. Thanks for
Um,
stopping by. Go watch it. Don't listen to our spoilers.
yeah, yeah. She would have just been better at like when the show's off the air. Um, again, I don't know what the push would, what the deal with pushing her is at this point.
I'm kind of curious. Like, I feel like at this point, and I've been saying this our last couple recaps, and we're
Mhm.
going to start this on even after tonight, you start to see things, but still, kind of what direction are we going for Mania with some of these people?
Yeah.
And
Well,
Nia falls into that category.
well, don't understand why they even brought her back. To me,
No, I get it. I mean,
no, no, I don't because you didn't need her. You had I already said you had um, Piper Niven would have filled.
eh,
Nah, she would have filled that
Piper
spot a
don't
lot better.
Piper don't do it for me. I think Piper might be an actual legit better worker, but I think her personality and character and charisma is just not there.
Well, because you're not giving her a chance.
I'll give her a chance, but
No,
I
it
just
is
don't.
there. I've seen it. It's just what do you want, man? You beat me up and then you're going to come back? Um, uh, yeah, like I said, Naya, you know, her act just is very stale.
Okay. I mean, overall, I think half the roster is getting kind of stale.
Well, the women's division is stale. I don't know who does the women's booking, but they don't know how to.
That's a good question.
They really don't know how to make them stand out.
That
You
is
know
a
what
good
I'm,
question.
you know what I'm saying? Everybody's becoming like white noise.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, look at Roxanne Perez.
Right.
She was trained by Booker T.
Okay.
She had a good run in NXT. You think about everybody who debuted in this or was like from NXT in this, she stood out to you the most. You know,
True.
um, but if you think about like the rest of the girls are like they're just they blend in. We said it that
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
they blend in with each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally. Um, Bill says I picked Bay's brain before the show. He was damn near spot on. I wouldn't say damn near, but a little bit.
I was more spot on than him.
Mike says I think Santa should stop talking bad about my Naya.
I think your Nia should quit.
He also said Santa is not giving Naya a chance ever. And Bill said Steph is booking the women.
Oh,
In-
that's
Interesting. I have not heard
see that bugs me because she should know better. She knows how to book wrestling.
that.
She's not a writer. She shouldn't be having it as stale and as um, like I said, it was just like a rinse and repeat with the way they ran this Royal Rumble.
Phoenix 48 says Alexa Bliss and Jordan Grace got the biggest pops.
They did, and
Agreed.
that's
Agreed.
why I think Jordan Grace should have gotten a bigger spotlight.
I honestly I think they both got bigger pops than Charlotte Flair with her big return.
I'd say they were equal. I won't go that far.
Well, last up, coming in at number 30, another
Total waste
surprise.
of a spot.
Another surprise. Was rumors of it, but it came to fruition. It came true. The return of Nikki Bella.
I could have did without seeing her in a ring ever again.
I yeah, I mean, actually, I mean, I was okay with that. I was okay with her over a couple of the NXT people, your B Fabs, and some others.
I've always thought the Bellas just have been so overrated and never really contributed anything to wrestling. And I was kind of actually shocked to see her there. I kind of was hoping like Cena would put the kibosh on that.
I was thinking that. I was going to say, was that the one with that used to be with Cena?
Yeah, yeah.
So she's the one that her husband just assaulted her and they got divorced or something.
Oh, did it? I don't. I don't follow her and her sister because I think they're just both like attention seekers.
Well, she was. Hey, look, you got to. She was at the Eagles game last week on the sidelines. Go Birds!
Um, yeah. Anyway, um, another spot I think they wasted.
All right, so they wasted that spot according to Frank, but um, as basically 85% of the people predicted, Charlotte Flair won the Women's Royal Rumble. No big surprise there.
So that was the problem. She was the only outcome. If you seriously think about the Rumble, there was no other person in the Rumble that literally would make sense in the main event. at this point. They haven't elevated anybody else. So it's going to be her and Rhea.
I was just going to say, who's it going to be? Is it going to be her and Rhea,
It's
or
got to be her and Rhea because I don't see her and Tiffy
I
being
think
the
it's going to
money.
be Tiffy and Nia.
See, and that's nobody wants to see that.
No, I
But
just think
again,
you don't want to see that.
no, honestly, dude, nobody wants to see that. But the problem is they haven't elevated anybody else enough to where people want to see. And they still haven't figured out, is Tiffy a heel? Is she a face?
Well, actually, I think they kind of like what you're saying. They haven't elevated. I think they de-elevated a few people.
They did. They should have, by now, they should have who they're going to start taking to the next level. Like, they should have more than, I mean, there's Tiffany, and then there's everybody else in
Yeah.
On SmackDown. And that's, you can't do that. Whereas, on Raw, you got Rhea, and it's kind of the same thing. So basically, Charlotte was the one to come in. And that's why I think if you, and I know she hasn't been there long, but if you brought in Grace and just had her have a great showing, you could have something interesting with her. But then, you may not want to have her get into a title picture this quick and then not win it. So I don't see who they're going to have for the second women's title match at Mania.
Okay, so another thing is, where do we go from here with Liv Morgan? Liv Morgan just coming off the biggest year of her career, in my opinion, truly proving that she was the world champion. She won the, what was that thing in Saudi Arabia,
Yeah,
that
the belt.
belt,
So
the belt that she didn't get to keep.
what I would have done, I would have had her move over to SmackDown and turn Tiffy face,
Yeah,
and then have her and Liv feud. It looks like they're going to have her and Rodriguez go for the women's tag belts.
that's what I was expecting. But what?
Again, and you're taking away your only. So for the Elimination Chamber, I think you may see Alexa Bliss win.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Not you, Alexa. Alexa Bliss. Shut up.
Sorry, what did you say?
I think she's the only viable option you have that people would care about for the second Mania title match.
All right, so Elimination Chamber. Since I am all new to this whole new world again of these WWE PLEs, Elimination Chamber is the next PLE. What happens if you win Elimination Chamber? You now that's
You
another
get
way to.
you get a title match.
Okay.
So basically, what it is the way they've set it up is the Rumble person gets to pick who they're gonna challenge. Like they can challenge for either title,
Okay.
and the Elimination Chamber gets whoever's left.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So, like we said, Charlotte Flair won the Women's Rumble. Not a surprise to most people. Next up, we had tag team charisma vacuum match. 2 out of 3 falls. The Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY. And I wondered why they booked this match.
Why did they book 2 out of 3 falls for it? Again, 4 good workers,
Yeah.
but 4 guys that could cure insomnia at the drop of a hat. Gargano is boring as his wife.
You know what sucks? You had four guys with amazing in-ring talent in front of 70,000 people,
And you heard crickets.
dead silence.
So this is where I go back, and it cracks me up because this is where the AEW crowd would be like, "Oh, that was the greatest match ever."
Yeah,
But if the crowd's not reacting, it's not.
exactly.
I always say this, and the internet marks will argue with me. What was the greatest wrestling match ever?
Some people will say Hogan Warrior.
Hogan Andre. And oh no, that match sucked. It sold out the Pontiac Silverdome. The crowd was into it from beginning to end. That is what makes a match. You know, these guys trying to get their spots in. The crowd didn't care. They sat on their hands for the entire match.
Yeah. There and to make matters worse, you have 2 out of 3 falls. As always, you have the first 2 falls split. You
Mm-hmm.
go to the third fall. You have 2 people come running out in hoodies to interfere in the match.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 2 more people that nobody cares about and are also charisma vacuums. And they're setting up now this 3-way between the 3 tag teams,
Well, why don't you say who came out?
the Street Profits. Who cares?
Uh,
The WWE tag team situation is in dire straits.
it doesn't have to be. Like, you know who I love? Pretty Deadly. Them 2 guys are they bring that comedic element, and they are hell of a workers. You know, I really think that they should be getting more of a push than some of these other guys, because them 2 as the tag champs, I think would be hysterical. I think they would bring an entertainment value that, you know, kind of like Ron Killings when he pops up onto the screen. You don't know what the hell he's going to do, but you find it's just funny, you know?
Why not? Oh, we'll get to that, but let's, why
Yeah.
didn't we see Ron Killings run into the Rumble? He would have been nice.
Well, a couple of years ago, he ran into the women's, which was
Yeah, right.
hysterical. But yeah, this match was I don't get why it was on the pay-per-view. They could have did so many better things. I would have rather seen a Gunther match.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Um,
Or why not even a women's championship match?
or yeah, something.
Here, you know what? Here's a big problem. The WWE formula, which on one hand I enjoy and I feel it works, where you
Mhm.
have these PLEs and you have 5 matches, and you're getting, even with only 5 matches, you're getting a full show of 2.5, 3 hours, and I feel everybody leaves happy. But let's face it, you have multiple rosters, very, very, very limited spots to get onto these PLEs,
Mhm.
which sets up a situation like we had tonight where you're trying to give people a rotation, a chance, etc. And you put this tag match in there, and then you make it a 2 out of 3 falls to give it a little bit more time
Mhm.
because of the situation. But it was people that, in my opinion, and nothing against these talented guys in the ring, they're not PLE worthy, I feel.
They are, but not as a an opener. They'd be an opener.
I wouldn't even put him in as an opener because the crowd didn't care. So they're not going to get the crowd jacked for you.
No.
So, all right. Next up, we had Kevin Owens, and interesting match. Here's a new name for us, Earl Schubel. What's up, Earl? He says, "I hope Kevin is good," and we're going to get into why he hopes Kevin is good. Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens in a ladder match. I went into this match expecting a lot more.
See, I don't expect much out of Kevin Owens. There's a reason he kind of stalled. He stalled. Again, and I know this isn't a popular opinion, and I really don't care, but when his contract was up, I felt they should have let him go.
Okay.
Because I think let him go to AEW, they would have overpaid him, and he wouldn't have moved the needle an inch. I feel he is a total waste. He still got that indie mentality. He was a jerk when he was in Ring of Honor.
Really?
Yeah, total. And I just feel like he's a mid-carder, and it always shows when they try to put him in the title pictures that he is. I think I'm into marketing and stuff.
Yeah.
How do you market a guy that looks like he's somebody that just came out of the local bar down in Philly?
Almost like that.
but they don't know how to do it. Like, he should be marketed like the Sandman.
Yeah, but you can't.
But no, he wants to be this prize fighter, or he wants to be this crazy guy, and even he doesn't know how to market himself. I just think he just falls flat.
See,
every time.
I felt this Cody Kevin feud build up was better than the match we got tonight.
See, I think that's it with Kevin Owens. I think it's the build up, and he doesn't deliver. He just doesn't deliver. He does some good worker, but he's just missing something, and I can never put my hand on it. I mean, this match wasn't bad for a ladder match.
Bill says, I think Kevin got a push too early and flopped hard.
See, and I was all for his early push. I just think he's the Dallas Cowboys of wrestling. He gets to the end and can't finish. He has, like, he's willing to do whatever, like, as you've seen with this ladder match. But I have never seen a ladder match where, like, you literally didn't care and just was like, oh, is this going to end soon?
Yeah, there was not a lot of, it was all spots of slamming each other on the ladder. Nothing of no falling off the ladder.
No build up. No storytelling.
Yes.
And that's been Kevin Owens' career. There is never storytelling. There is never build up. He was over when he worked Stone Cold Steve Austin at Mania. And I think that was the only time I ever seen people care about a Kevin Owens match.
Interesting.
I wish he was.
Okay. Towards the end of the match, Sami Zayn came out.
That I didn't understand the whole.
No.
Like, again, and Zayn's another guy, I just think he just can't get over that hump. when he was in the Bloodline, he was over.
Yeah.
I think he needs like a group or just he needs stuff around him.
See now, they obviously I feels like they're going to be turning him heel soon. Something's going on there. Um, which even tonight in the Rumble, which we'll get into,
Mm-hmm.
he he went after Seth Rollins at one point. He went through
Mm-hmm.
a couple people that was kind of shocking, but yeah, like the whole thing at him at ringside, it was just like he's there, but
But
why?
yeah, why? There was no
Explanation on the reasoning.
yeah.
But I'll say this. I felt the finish I was okay with because it was a pretty devastating um
I'm
you know
wondering if that was the finish.
yeah, like because I texted you, I'm like, is his head stuck in the ladder? Like,
I was like, because if you when they replayed it, holy crap, man, he looked like he destroyed his neck.
yeah, that was a wicked bump.
And again, from a guy that was in wrestling, why do you do that?
Well, you're in a ladder match. That's where it comes to the point.
Yeah,
You're in a ladder match in
I
front
hope
of
he's good too.
70,000 people. You got to do it. And this is where the question comes in from Earl. I hope Kevin is good, and I mean, I do too. And actually, I enjoy Kevin. I enjoy his work. I enjoy heel Kevin. I've enjoyed this build up and this whole feud thing with Cody, but I just felt the ladder match up until the finish fell short.
I just think he gets you interested, and then it peters out too quickly for me.
And then it now happens, after that finish, it's like, all right, obviously, is this feud over now? And where do we go from here for Cody? Where do we go for Kevin?
Yeah.
It's questions all over the place.
Well, we'll get into the Royal Rumble, and I'll tell you kind of what I was thinking because I thought that they were going to go a different direction with this, but we'll see.
All right, let me see here. Matt says too much talent, no good storytelling as of late. Very ADHD production.
You know what, Matt, you nailed it. Their writers, I've said that for years. They just don't have focus. There's no long-term storytelling. And when they get written into a corner, they write the cheapest, quickest ending. That's perfect, man.
So, all right. So after that match, we saw the quick promo WWE Evolve, which, again, they filed the trademark for it. We have a new show starting beginning of March on Tubi, but I don't know if it's a federation, just a TV show name, etc., etc.
If you have Tubi, watch the movie The Man Who Shot Hitler and Bigfoot. Great movie.
When I hear this, I just say to myself, how does Santa have that much time on his hands?
Trust me and watch that movie.
All right, next up was the men's Royal Rumble. And I felt this was a great way to start it off, but I'm going to say I was a little disappointed.
I was too. I was really happy to see Rey Mysterio and Penta. I was like, oh, this is perfect. These two. Yep. And they kind of spent more time just trying to uh
Build it up.
yeah, and then like they just didn't get into it as much as they could have.
See, that's the whole with the time thing, and
Mm-hmm.
I felt it was very, very obvious, and I'd like to hear other people's opinion, including yours on this. Very much so during the men's rumble, not so much during the women's rumble, but in the men's rumble, it seemed like the countdown was a lot quicker at times and
It was. I timed it.
a lot slower for a couple of them.
Yeah, I timed it. It was on a few of them.
Okay. So yeah, Mysterio Penta started it off,
Mm-hmm.
and out third was Chad Gable, which was nice because Chad's got a problem with the luchadors.
And a guy, the most underrated worker in the WWE. And again, you got three guys in there that could actually go and put on a good show. No problems whatsoever with that.
Now you know what sucks. Maybe it's me, but Chad Gable, I feel agreed. Phenomenal worker,
Mm-hmm.
but I think his every time I see him, he just reminds me so much of just a smaller version of um,
Kurt Angle,
Kurt Angle.
which I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but it's almost like a duplicate gimmick and everything. His
Yeah,
look, everything.
and I'm okay with that because
I'm
he
not.
is, man. He was an Olympic champ. You know, when he was a face and he was going against Gunther for the Intercontinental Belt, the fact that they didn't give it to him was a huge injustice.
Hmm.
And then they turned him heel and kind of made him a joke, which, you know, I get his size has got to be detrimental. But what's the difference between him and Rey Mysterio?
I mean, actually, he's bigger than Mysterio.
Exactly. So give him a shot. I just think that they,
Have him and Mysterio ever feuded?
yeah.
Okay.
He, I don't think he can have a bad match with anyone.
Yeah, no, I mean, I loved his work, and even
Mhm.
he's even somebody I feel on the mic is really good.
Yeah.
There's just again something that he needs to help get him over, and I think
But he
him.
was over. When he was a face, he was over. It was that whole turning him heel that just soured him. The
You know, you know,
crowd was so into him.
you know what I think drags him down for me?
What's that?
He's part of a group. I don't think he needs to be part of a group.
When he was running Alpha Academy, it was over.
Okay.
But again, they just um they turned him heel for whatever reason, and he's just not as over as he was.
Interesting. I don't know. I think there's just so much there with that dude.
Watch the face run with him and Gunther, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, and you'll agree with me.
Well, I mean, Gunther's another one that very, very rarely we see that guy have a bad match.
Yeah, but I'm saying watch that uh, their matches. You can just pull them up on YouTube or whatever,
Okay.
and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. The crowd was so into that feud.
Now, we talked about wasted spots with the women's, and
Mm-hmm.
I felt the next few participants all amazing talents, but it's like realistically, do you think they're going to like have the possibility to win? Like, couldn't there have been like surprise in there instead to make it more fun. We had coming out at number 4 Carmelo Hayes,
Mm-hmm.
who I feel is a talent. I don't know much about the guy, but I've seen a couple of his matches, and in ring, think he's a talent.
Yeah, yeah.
Same with the next guy, Santo Escobar, a talent.
Mm-hmm.
But these, and next up after that, Otis. These guys are not going to win this.
3 guys, as Matt said, that suffer from the ADHD booking.
Mm-hmm.
Otis, another one. He was so over. They had him win Money in the Bank, and they literally didn't know what to do. They never let him cash it in.
Oh.
Oh, they had him lose it to Dolph Ziggler. And the crowd was like going crazy for him. He is a hell of a worker. Good on the mic. People like him. And that's why when him and Gable were teaming up, I was like, okay, they're going to start pushing him again.
Mm-hmm.
And they dropped the ball. Escobar is another one. Escobar can go. He can talk.
Yeah.
Hayes, I think, suffers from he's just blending in with other guys.
Okay.
These are 3 guys that can literally do a lot more, and they don't know what to do with them.
Oh, those 3 guys also ended up being the first 3 eliminations of the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up after Otis, we had somebody who last year, I guess, made his main roster debut on the Rumble and made a hell of an impression. And he's now your Intercontinental Champion, the one and only Mr. Braun Breaker. And again, tonight, I thought he had a hell of a showing in the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Shows that he really is going to be a future huge star of this company. And I think the breakout feud we need to see is Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu.
They need to turn Breaker face.
Yeah.
The crowd wants it so bad.
Absolutely.
And I'm going back to his NXT stuff. When he was a face, much more over. He seemed more comfortable. This whole heel thing, they don't know how to write him as a heel.
I don't even, I just get the vibe they don't know what the hell he is. And I feel he don't know what he is.
Well, you can only go by what they're doing with you. But you seen when him and Fatu were facing off later in the Rumble.
The crowd wants that so bad.
Every time. And this is where they got to learn how to read the room.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I've seen him face off with a heel and they give you that inkling that they might change him,
yeah,
the crowd goes ape shit and they just never pull the trigger.
Well, they had a face off a month or 2 ago, those two, at ringside at another event. I forget which one it was.
Yeah.
But the crowd was fucking hot for it. They were chomping at the bit for it. I would turn him face, put them in a feud, give Jacob the belt, and fucking build a comeback with Breaker getting it back.
Yeah, something with them. Something. Them two would be money.
Yeah, totally. All right, Jay Bradbury joined the show. Otis has so much charisma, can work, gets over. Why do you think he hasn't been bigger than what he is? Is it his size?
No. It's the writers don't know what to do. There is no reason. One of the things I loved about Otis, if you watch his matches, everything he does looks so devastating. Like, this is a dude I really legitimately believe could kill half the roster. And they just, we're going to, they just make him a joke. Like, so I just, don't
Okay,
get how you
but
can't write a guy when a guy has that size and can move like he does. That writes itself.
but did he do something to put himself in the doghouse with the writers?
No.
Because, and I'm going to say this because, for the year now that I've been watching somewhat
Mm-hmm.
consistently, I've only seen this guy in backstage vignettes, Hawkins, chunky soup or something stupid, or t-shirts or merchandise, running naked down a hallway. I've only seen him almost being put in embarrassing spots, like they're trying to shame him for some reason. But little touches of greatness in the ring he's allowed, and that's it.
So my take and everything I've heard, he is a great guy, does whatever they ask. No heat, no great in the ring, great hand. If you watch, they always drop the ball with the big guys. Always.
I don't
And
I don't think they believe in them.
it's not that they don't believe in them, they don't know how to book a big guy. They book a big guy the way they book a regular guy, and it just doesn't make sense.
Right.
Otis should have been that face that people rely on. Like comes out and does the save. Because like I said, the dude's a friggin' bowling ball with legs.
Totally.
But he can move. And I just think the writers, and this is why I hate writers, man. Instead of like bookers, a wrestling guy could look at someone like him and make a mint. And the writers just they just drop the ball, man. I just think it's them, man. He should have been a star.
Mm.
I agree with that.
Jay also said he loved Breaker Steiner meth singlet.
I didn't notice that. I got to go back and look at that.
All right, after Breaker, we had Akira Tozawa come out and get blindsided by
So
Carmelo.
stupid
Yeah, yeah.
for a
And
guy that I had to ask everybody who he was.
yeah, I did the same thing. I Show Speed was your next participant in the Rumble, who just happened to be in the gorilla position, and Hunter threw him out there. And I would have felt there could have been, like, we know Triple H is now side by side with Hunter up there. Like, why not put Michaels out? Throw somebody else out there of importance.
Um, yeah, I mean, this guy apparently he's like partners with uh, Jake Paul or Logan
In his
Paul.
in his drink.
Yeah, and he's done a couple things at the shows.
Okay.
Actually, my brother Danny had to tell me who he was,
Okay.
and total waste of a spot. No one cared. No, half the people didn't know who he was.
All right. Well, okay. Let's segue into this real quick and beeline off the Rumble in a good thing, bad thing, plus minus, whatever you want to call it. Something they're doing on your PLEs, something they're doing on Raw every week now. I don't know if they're probably doing it on SmackDown as well. Throughout the night, throughout the show, they will pan to your front row and they will show some WWE alumni that are sitting front row,
Mm,
and then they'll usher them out and they'll usher in
mm-hmm.
some YouTubers or social media sensations, and then usher them out and then bring
Yeah,
in some hip hop stars. Like, I get it. They're trying to build it up and make it seem hip and cool and all that. And they're giving a lot of attention to these YouTubers and social media stars. But I guess I mean, is that the audience of WWE today? I mean,
I think they think it is, but they forget there's still wrestling fans out there. Like I would have rather seen if they were going to do that, have a legend or somebody you wanted to see get back in the ring,
Mm-hmm.
maybe in the front row, and then Triple H gives them the Iggy to go in, something fun.
Right.
Or again, somebody standing in the back and they're like, do you want to go in? And like, don't have the camera on the person.
Yeah.
And have the person agree, and then all of a sudden, like, have a big surprise, like, somebody who may have left the WWE, or it's just, you could have did so much better than a guy that, like, when he came out and you heard the crowd. The crowd was like, "Who is this guy?"
Matt Lee TNT says big guy booking hasn't been right since 1990.
Again, it's once the writers took over and bookers left, they don't know what to do with big guys.
Mm-hmm. All right, so after I Show Speed was in and out, we had Sheamus come in at number 10.
Hold on, I got to stop you.
Okay.
I felt bad after I watched it the second time, but when Breaker built up all that speed and speared him, and the dummy didn't turn into the spear.
Okay, actually, Jay said, so I Show Speed was live streaming in real life to close to 1 million people before he got into the Rumble. That's pretty amazing. After he took the spear and got eliminated, he sold it and ended the stream. I hope so.
Oh, dude, that spear, he took it totally wrong. And
he looked like it was dead for a second.
Well, because if you seen, he didn't turn into it.
Yeah.
He got hit from the side. I'm surprised he didn't, like, and Breaker runs at like 90 miles an hour.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't break his ribs.
Hunter said having these guys bring more eyes to the product. I mean, I get, maybe that's the reason. Maybe it's not that the hip hop and social media, etc., people are the audience, but maybe they're trying to get that audience and bring them in.
So here's that Hunter's wrong. Brings more eyes to the product. Ratings aren't going up. They're the same ratings.
Not on that. With Netflix, the ratings are through the roof. The biggest viewer ratings they've had.
They're the same ratings they've been having. They ain't that much bigger than what they were on Fox.
I thought they were bigger.
Nah, it's not. It's not that much. And again, it's WWE. Everything they do is the biggest they've ever done. If he's streaming to 1 million people, then technically you should have at least 250,000 new eyes on the product. And the ratings don't show that. People who love wrestling are going to watch wrestling. The average YouTuber who is not into wrestling is not going to tune into wrestling to watch this guy. I mean, that might be, it's my opinion and it might be wrong, but that's how I feel. All right, next up.
After Sheamus, we had Jimmy Uso. Not main event.
Not as over. He should be called Not As Over Uso.
Not main event Uso. Poor Jimmy. After Jimmy, we had Andrade. And I don't think we've seen him since maybe last year's Royal Rumble.
No, he's been on SmackDown. He's again another great worker, but they don't know what to do with him.
Agreed.
Mr. Flair is so talented and so underutilized.
After Andrade, we had the one and only future monster of the company, Jacob Fatu.
I love you, Fatu.
I love you, Solo. Where was Solo tonight?
I thought he should have been out there.
I thought he'd be there. Why was Solo not in the Rumble.
Yeah. Um,
I mean, Solo should have been in there over Carmelo, Santo Escobar, Otis, Show Speed. You know what I mean? Like
and what's his name wasn't in there either. The
Tongaloa.
Tongaloa, yeah.
Yeah,
But Fatu perfectly used in this.
absolutely.
Came out there, presence like you didn't want to keep him out there too long because I think he was overshadowing people.
Mm,
But he had the Kevin Nash breakout moment.
yeah. Oh,
Got in there,
absolutely.
was just tossing people. So he's
His part was played perfectly tonight.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. Matt Lee TNT says they're catering 50-50. The generations want to see some of the older guys, and the generation underneath us want to see the pop culture. Now, I get it. And I'm cool. That's where, sadly, as we're talking about the men's now, and I'm going to say these names again, your Carmelo Hayes, Santo Escobar, Otis, even Andrade,
Mm-hmm.
they could have done more legends and these other stars in to really make it fun. And okay, here's something. Let me throw this out here now as we're almost to the halfway point of the roster of rundown. I almost feel that 30 is not enough. That maybe we should go to 40.
They tried that with the greatest Rumble ever.
Oh, okay.
That's the one they did from Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Way too long.
How many people did they do? 40?
I think they did.
Wow.
Or no,
Okay.
they did 50.
50. Okay, yeah. Well, that would be way too long. Okay. All right. After Jacob Fatu was a in and out, Mr. Tiffany Stratton himself, Ludwig Kaiser, who played it smart, came down to the ring and
Yeah.
then just moseyed around ringside for a while and was thrown out instantly.
Another underrated guy.
Agreed.
Work, talk, great heel. Just think he doesn't get the props he deserves. Such a dislikable guy.
Agreed.
In a good way.
In a good way. And I thought he had a great match a couple months back in the three-way with Breaker and Sheamus.
Oh, and I like the way he just like mosey, like the mosey into the ring was great.
It was a slow mosey.
Although I want to know where they changed the one rule at the Rumble, which was you could stay outside the ring, but if the person after you got in the ring before you, you were automatically eliminated. You had to get in the ring before the next person got in. Because Michael Cole's like, oh, he could just stay outside all night. I'm like,
Right,
when did that rule come up? I hate when they do stuff like that.
Take away Show Speed and give me George South. I would have popped.
I would have too.
Yeah, right. That would be nice. All right.
Ron Killings should have been in that spot.
After Ludwig Kaiser, we had The Miz.
Miz is always, I mean, he's the Miz. He's going to go out there, instigate, do his stuff. He just never drops the ball.
What is he now? Is he a face? Is he a heel? Is he?
No, he's a heel.
Okay.
I mean, he's kind of. I think he's on the downside of his career.
Totally.
But I think he's okay with it, man. He's done it all, man. He no regrets.
All right. After The Miz, one of the biggest pops of the night for the men.
Say his name, and he appeared.
I was a little shocked. I gotta admit. Because you know what? It's like I remembered more during the women's about the whole TNA thing than I did about the guys. But
Mhm.
TNA champion Joe Hendry appeared in the WWE's Royal Rumble.
Did you hear that crowd reaction?
Massive crowd reaction, and he got a massive spot. Came in and got to eliminate a few people.
But here again, why? Why you wasted it? You wasted him. You wasted the spot. I know why they're not pushing him because he's not their guy,
Yeah,
and it looks bad that he's the most over guy in the Rumble at that point.
yeah, agreed. He definitely was.
But they did the same thing when he showed up in NXT. Like the crowd was so into him. Like they sing the song, and you got to see the whole entrance with him.
Hmm.
If they had given him a single match on one of these pay-per-views, watch what the crowd does. They get into his entrance so much, and he is a funny guy. I mean, the stuff he does, he gets you interested in the matches. Like, I really wish his contract with TNA would end because he's just not showcased the way he should be.
Now, is there was a rumor? You know, rumors are rumors in the wrestling business. Is WWE actually going to end up buying TNA, or is it just a working agreement? Or
I don't know because, like, I don't know how TNA's still in business.
right? That's what I mean. Like, what? Here's the thing I don't understand. In reality, what is there for WWE to really gain from just having a working relationship with an overglorified independent?
So how about? Well, I'm gonna give you something that you may know something about. It could be the same deal they had with ECW, where they're propping them up on the, on the down low as a way to get some talent to put some guys in there.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, remember how long they were propping up ECW and no one knew about it? Well, Paulie knew and he hid all the money, but yeah, I said it. Paulie's a crook.
The guy is fired. Joe Henry will be written in the history books.
His matches are so. Him and Ziggler was phenomenal on the TNA. Um, I I definitely think he should get there sooner than later, and I'm hoping this was his test run.
Well, if that's his test run, I mean, I think he
Yes.
passed.
Oh yeah, he was. I mean, and the crowd didn't want the song to end; they wanted to get out. But yeah, like I said, I kind of was disheartened. I would have liked to seen him have a good showing. I mean, what would it have hurt to keep him in there for a while?
Okay, well, now here you go. Up until that point, I felt Joe Henry had the biggest pop.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt it was instantly deflated because you have Roman Reigns come out next.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's why they got him out of there
Hmm.
because I think he would have overshadowed Roman. Because I feel at this point the crowd wants to see something new, and people have a love-hate relationship with Roman.
Right.
I think they get tired of him. Although we'll get when we get into it later, I'll say I think they're going on the right track with him at this point.
And Matt says basically that TNA is a future shift for the WWE. Um, you know, they're going to have this independent development deal, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, basically
Yeah,
another.
I agree. But TNA's got. I will say this about TNA: their women's division is really solid.
Hmm.
Some good workers, and they got a lot of solid talent that I think has potential. So it's a good place for them to kind of cherry pick some good guys from. Joe Hendry being one of them.
And they have Tessa Blanchard, who will be appearing at TNA's One and Done 2300 Arena on May 3rd. Tickets available 2300arena.com. All right, after Roman Reigns, next up was Drew McIntyre.
What can I say? Drew always delivers.
Agreed.
He got in there and he made you. Oh my gosh! And like, it's a shame when you put him in the ring with anyone, because he just made Reigns look so small. And that's again getting back to they don't know how to book a big guy. There's no one that should be beating him. He should be so dominant. The push that Reigns had, I think, should have been his push. Because he just look at the guy. I hate you, writers. I hate you. Hope you all just go away.
All right.
I hate you. I make you humble.
After Drew McIntyre, next up was Finn Balor.
Dude, he sucked the life out of that arena.
You texted me. That's funny. You texted me that when it happened.
I mean, like, literally, it's like Finn Balor. Like, you literally heard the guy in the back row ordering his hot dog.
Now, you know what sucked? You were doing this. I had to like push my phone away from me. You were texting me things, and Coco's sister was texting her things, and your guys' feed was ahead of ours.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, you were like a minute ahead or whatever, and you were like starting to spoil shit. I'm like, son of a bitch, and I had to push my phone away.
Sorry about that.
Hey, not your fault. After Finn Balor, Sensuke Nakamura, which I felt had a very lackluster appearance.
Crickets again.
Absolute crickets.
And I am a big Shinsuke Nakamura fan. I just, this is a guy who came in with such a big upside, and they literally did everything they could to just take it away from him. He should have been a world champion.
It's not working.
It was, though. Like, this was another guy, like we talked about Gable earlier, where you had him where the crowd loved him. I mean, he had the rock music. He was like the Japanese rock star. And
now they changed him into this new thing,
and nobody cares.
It's not working at all.
No. I think he just wants to go back to Japan at this point. It's a shame.
I don't blame him.
It's a shame because I've never seen them have a star handed to them.
Yeah.
A guy who was just had superstar written all over him. And I know sometimes they get, well, you know what? If they can't speak English, dude, people don't care. You know, if they can communicate and his English is good enough, or you give him a manager.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Mr. Fuji or a,
right.
But he just they just totally made people stop caring. I never thought I'd see the day where a crowd was quiet when Shinsuke Nakamura comes out.
All right, so Matt says Drew McIntyre is hugely wasted talent. I'm going to disagree. I disagree because I don't think he's wasted because he's involved in so many main event things and angles, and he's always there in the midst of.
But they don't do anything with him. They just use him to push everyone else over.
Yeah.
This is the guy that carried that federation during COVID, and I really think he should have got the run that he deserves. I think he should have got the push that Roman Reigns got. But that's me.
Matt also says Nakamura also wasted talent.
Hugely wasted.
Jay says it's not NXT effect once they get to the main roster. It's a writer having to change the performer.
See, I'm gonna tell you a theory that I've had for years. The problem with the people going from, thank you, the people going from NXT to the main roster is it's two different products, and instead of getting them ready for the main roster, you're training them for something totally different. It's like the main roster is McDonald's, and to get them ready to work at McDonald's, you're having them train at KFC.
Yeah.
So that's why so many of these guys who should be thriving are flopping.
Mm.
Like the next call up, I think should be from NXT is probably going to be Trick Williams, and again, he's super over. I think they're going to drop the ball on him.
Mm.
I mean, it's a shame to say, but besides Braun Breaker, who have they really given a push to from NXT in the last couple of years?
Well, okay. Even looking at tonight's lineups, the women's had, I think it was 4 NXT talent. The
Mhm.
men had 0.
Yeah, that kind of surprised. Well, as someone who watches NXT, the only one I would say is ready for the call up. Well, actually, there's a couple guys ready for the call up. Ethan Page, because he was at AEW.
Okay.
I just don't think he'll get over. Trick Williams, who is super over, but I don't think he's gonna. And don't we all? Don't we all?
Could I mean honestly? Could you? I bet you, if that happened, that would probably be the biggest freaking pop of the night.
It would have come out with the confetti, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Oh my God, it would be so over.
Yeah. Getting back though, I don't think they have enough people ready for the call up in NXT at this point. They're just not making stars down there, which is kind of weird because that's what it's supposed to be.
Bill said Gunther was the last great NXT call up.
But see, I don't consider him an NXT call up because Gunther was great before NXT.
Mm.
Gunther cut his teeth in the UK and then on the Indies. So I don't consider him. I'm looking at the NXT call ups. So besides Breaker, because Carmelo Hayes just is floundering. Wow, I can't even think of anybody else on the main roster from NXT at this point. How bad is that?
See, I don't watch it, so I'm like lost.
The problem with NXT is a lot of the guys are white noise, and a lot of the guys they push. And again, I'm an armchair booker, but I see like the guy they're really pushing now is this guy called Oba Femi.
Ooh.
He's gonna flop on the main roster. He's just another big guy that they think is like the be all and end all. But you can't have a guy like that come up when you have a guy like Drew McIntyre who can work circles around him, and this guy can't cut a promo. Like, and they're pushing him to the moon in NXT, and I'm just like there's just some people like it's the Jade Cargill push.
Right.
Like, she doesn't have it, man. Sometimes you got to come to that. But at this point, like, I feel like NXT is not doing what OVW did. It's not making stars. So let's get back to the Rumble.
I agree. That's exactly what I feel. Let's see. Jumpin' Jeff Farmer says Braun Breaker will probably be the best from the call-ups. Bill says Leela Flounder too. Who's that?
Ilya Dragunov. I don't think he floundered as much as they dropped the ball on him, because you literally this is another thing I don't understand. Him and Gunther had matches of the year in NXT, why couldn't you have him and Gunther get into a feud and let him get the Intercontinental title? And then when Gunther moved on, I know he's hurt now, but I think that it's just another guy like Nakamura they dropped the ball on.
Jay says former Philadelphia Eagle Trick Williams. WWE writers see Eagle and stick him with a Coco Beware gimmick. You want to put him over right now? Get him out there with Gilly the King doing blow to whistle. That motherfucker be over like Rover.
They wouldn't even think about like, and it's funny. I didn't know he was a former Philadelphia Eagle. I didn't know he was a former football player. They don't even emphasize
acknowledge
that.
it.
Yeah.
Green Lord's new to the show. What's up, buddy? Or whoever, if you're a female, whatever, buttette. I can't even watch WWE, let alone AEW.
Oh my gosh, AEW is just such a bad product.
I don't watch it.
It's unwatchable. I watch it, but it's always like because I work from home.
Yeah.
And it's always in the background. And literally there's just nothing that makes me like, oh, this is gonna be Jon Moxley, man. Hopefully he never comes back to WWE because that dude's just horrible.
Also say, though, I love the Rumble. The Rumble's kind of hard not to love.
Mm-hmm. It's getting easier.
All right. Well, after our next up was It's Just Me, Oos. All right. I eat probably way too much. All right, Jey Uso was next, and then we had a little surprise after Jey. We had the phenomenal AJ Styles with his return.
Mm-hmm.
Nice pop.
Nice pop. AJ's again another guy that's on the downside of his career.
Yeah.
Gets hurt more than he stays healthy these days.
Agreed.
But it was nice to see him in a Rumble.
Yeah, you know what? Like AJ, they'll put him in a program. He'll give you a couple amazing matches. He'll be hurt, and then he'll be out for the next 6 to 9 months.
Yeah,
which
I think he
sucks.
Just going through the motions at this point.
Yeah. After AJ was Braun Strowman, who came in and right away went for the man that put him out the other night, the one and only Jacob Fatu.
And this aggravated me to no end.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
No. Like, let them two go at it a little bit. Let them do. But just to, like, throw him out. So that's the next feud.
Yeah.
And
I don't like this feud at all. I feel it's a waste.
I don't either because they don't have chemistry, them two.
They don't have chemistry. I think they're looking at it as Strowman's the big monster, and they're going to basically use him to put Jacob over. But I don't.
My thing, though, is, and it goes back to the conversation we had earlier in the show, they still don't know how to book big guys.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
He's another guy that should be getting, like, a great push.
After Strowman, John Cena.
Dun, 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 dun. Still get chills when that happens.
So you like Cena, huh?
Did I ever tell you I met him and hung out with him for an entire night?
No.
So when I worked at Best Buy doing security, they called the store in Springfield and said, "Hey, we need some guys to work a midnight signing. We're gonna have a rap album signed at the Delaware. We need some security."
Okay.
And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take the OT." I didn't have work the next day. I didn't know who it was for.
Right.
It was Cena.
Okay.
When he did his rap album.
Right.
The nicest, most humble guy you have ever met in your life.
Okay.
Just the coolest dude.
I like to hear that.
Like, he's like, "Hey, man, like, because they were bringing him like water and stuff to drink." And he's like, "Yo, you making sure my guys got," like, we were his guys all night. hey, you making sure my guys are taken care of and all this. And then at the end of the night, uh, did you guys get like a CD? Or I was like, nah, they didn't offer us any. He goes, no, man, you guys all wanted to, like, he wanted to give autographs. So I got
Oh,
an autographed John Cena CD.
that's awesome.
Nice guy. And honestly, he's always delivered.
Yeah, I'm not saying he doesn't. I just
I'd like to see him get one last good run. I think he deserves it. He's done enough to have them bank points with me.
I can see that. I mean, look, not taking anything away from him because he's done a lot. He's over like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And you now just after this quick story you just told, make me feel a lot better about him.
Well, anyone who doesn't feel good about him has got to remember one thing. This is a dude who is a major Hollywood star, a
Yeah.
major wrestling star, and has done more appearances for Make-A-Wish than is humanly possible. No one's ever going to break that record. And again, it's not like he looks for acknowledgement on it. He doesn't
Right.
publicize them. He just does them. So
And,
the dude's a great dude, man.
all right. So after Cena, we had CM Punk. These three,
Yeah, that was
I thought
great
was
the way they did it.
and I even wrote a little note. Smart booking.
Yes,
Cena,
very smart.
Punk, Seth Rollins.
Well, everything but Seth.
Seth is in that mix.
I will say this. Normally, I think Seth takes away from the show because I just his character just. But tonight, and I like where they're going with him finally because I think we saw him turning full heel tonight.
After Seth, Dirty Dom.
That kid gets the great. He is the best heel in the business right now.
I'm not going to argue with you. After Dom was Sami Zayn.
Again, you know, he got the pop, but I don't think the crowd cares about him as much as they did.
And I think that's why it's time to turn him heel.
I don't even think as a heel he's going to get over.
Okay,
He was better in that bloodline where he was the one with the personality in the group, where he was Usi.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's his niche. And when he tries to be the serious wrestler, the crowd stops caring about him.
All right. After Sami Zayn, two people who I feel like are talents, but things are not clicking for both of them. Next up, Damian Priest.
Yes.
And LA Knight.
Again, Knight, for some reason, has just stalled. He had that push, and everybody wanted to see him get elevated, and he just didn't. And Priest, I think they still believe in him. They just got to figure out where they're going to go with him at this point.
Yeah. After he, when he won the belt at WrestleMania last year, was this huge thing, and I think that was his peak. And since then, he just can't get back to that point.
Yeah, yeah.
And our last participant coming in at number 30, which I totally forgot all about, Logan Paul.
And he came in and just established a presence.
Yeah, totally.
He, again, this kid, I know people hate him.
Yeah.
But man, he knows wrestling.
No denying. That's this kid. again, yes, he's got a hell of a following.
Hmm.
He's got these businesses, et cetera. But he came into the wrestling business and he learned the business. He knows how to work it.
No psychology.
He knows the psychology, and I feel even though he comes off as a pompous prick,
Hmm.
I feel he's also respectable to the business, the
Oh
psychology,
yeah.
and the
Oh yeah.
history.
Yeah. He's just. Um, I thought him being one of the final guys was the right move
Hmm.
because you actually felt like he could take it.
But would you have liked to seen Hulk Hogan come out so CM Punk could have thrown his dusty ass over the top rope?
Nah. Just because Hogan can't. It'd be like when the Sheik did that Rumble
Yeah.
where they realized when he got in there, like, oh, he has to win it. Why? Because we can't throw him out. Um, but the way they did the final countdown, I liked. I thought my prediction was going to come true. Um, what did you think of the final outcome?
All right, so we had now going into this, my prediction was CM Punk. Frank's prediction was John Cena. I got all excited when Punk came up behind Rollins and Roman and eliminated them. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, here we go. And a few seconds later, Logan Paul comes up and eliminates Cena.
I
I
was
was like,
shocked by that.
shocked as fuck, but I love the fact that they did that because, again,
They set up.
it was like so predictable where a lot of people were setting up for Punk to win and Flair to win, Charlotte to win the women's, which they should have
Mhm.
swerved the women's as well. Um, Nobody saw the outcome coming tonight, so it
Well, they
came
set
down.
up. Yeah, and they set up a couple things. If you noticed,
Yes,
um, I definitely think they set up a Rollins versus Reigns for WrestleMania.
absolutely.
Um, Punk, you still have the Elimination Chamber, so
Which
he
will
may
be
pull that off.
which
But
will be Punk
now,
versus Cody.
but here's the thing: I would have I would have done things differently. Well, let's get into the end, and I'll tell you what I would have rather have done.
All right, so it ends up coming down. We have some eliminations, blah blah blah
Mhm.
blah. Comes down to the final two, um, John Cena and my boy Jay Uso.
And I
Yeet.
I thought Cena was gonna.
I
My prediction was coming true.
at that point I felt Frank Santa's prediction was coming true.
Yeah.
I was upset. I was pissed. My other half, Coco, was screaming at the TV. If Cena wins, I'm never watching wrestling again. She's like, I'm done. Fuck this. She was furious.
Which I don't understand why, but
And we had, it's funny because, like I said earlier, Frank was a little bit ahead of my feed. And he's like, I don't like this. And I was like, uh-oh. Could it be that Jay's going over? And when I saw Jay go over, I was like, holy shit. I fucking popped. We were fucking yeeting as we were watching it. Me and Coco, we were fucking yeeting.
and and I'll tell you why I don't like it. My booking would have been Cena wins and Cena Cody at Mania.
Nah.
Shut up. Cena Cody at Mania, Punk, um, Gunther, and the other one.
Nope. As I've been saying for weeks, Jay Uso is a world champion. He is going to beat Gunther at WrestleMania. And then we're going to have on the flip side CM Punk and Cody on the other side. That's going to be the favor somehow with
I don't know. I don't know if you're going
Sammy.
to have that or not. I don't know. Like, I just think it's what we were talking about earlier. I don't think they know what to do with Cody at this point now. It's definitely going to be Gunther
That's why he's dropping the belt at Mania.
and Jay, and Jay's going to win it. I just think that Jay's not going to be the champion they think he's going to be.
Hey, look, like I said last week or 2 weeks ago, Jay Uso is not a long-term champion. He's a Kerry Von Erich champion. He's going to have it for a couple weeks, a month, to the next PLE, whatever it is. But he is a quick, short champion and a major merchandise boost. You had 70,000 people in a stadium fucking eating.
Yeah,
And
no,
love it every
he's
second.
over. He's over. He just doesn't have it.
He gets blown up going to the ring because he's eating so much.
Yeah, he just doesn't have that where people would get engaged. But here's the problem. If you take Gunther out of the mix, unless you turn Sami Zayn heel, you're not going to have anybody lined up for him. And even if Punk goes against Cody and beats him, which I think they're going to do Cena and Cody, but that's just me.
Bill says Cena needs a big send off by the end of his tour. I think maybe some old feuds, some dream matches. Depends on how limited the bookings for Cena are.
I think that's why Cena's going to go against Cody. And I would give him the final win to surpass Flair.
Who do you think Cena has his final match against?
That's an interesting one because I think he wants to have a special match,
Of
and he
course.
wants it to be someone that. So, I can't even begin to think, but I definitely think it's going to be something because he wants to do a nice send off, but he's also a guy that wouldn't. He doesn't need to go over for a send off because if you look at the last couple of years, he hasn't won one match.
I mean, usually 99% of the time when you send off, you don't go over.
No, but he hasn't he's been putting people over for the last couple of years.
Matt said he saw that out coming a mile away. Bill says Punk versus Cena in the retirement tour.
I think I can see that.
Matt says Uso basically gave the ending away when he cut the promo the other night at the end of the show. Bill says Cody is definitely running out of steam on his run.
Well, I'm gonna Bill. It's not that he's running out of steam, but if you're a fan of superheroes and superhero movies and stuff, they're only as good as their villains. If you don't have good villains, no one cares about the superhero.
There you go.
Hence why, if you're a Marvel fan, a lot of the Marvel movies have been flopping because the villains suck. Cody doesn't. There's no villain. They're not building, and we talked about this earlier in the show.
Good point.
If they don't build up anybody for these guys to, like Roman Reigns, he was a great villain. You know why? Because he was knocking down all the heroes. So you wanted to see. I think Gunther's suffering from the same thing. They haven't built up any heroes to go against them.
That's why I think Jay Uso is going to beat him, but I think Gunther will get it back, a month later.
And see, that's the thing. He's already beat Jay so many times that it's you just don't care about the match.
Yeah, but he'll get that Hogan over Sheik surprise WrestleMania win out of nowhere. Or you know what I mean, like that surprise win when
it's
Hogan
not a surprise when everybody's seeing it coming. I think it would have been better if they didn't have him going against Gunther already 4 or 5 times.
Oh, yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, this would have been better if this was the first meeting.
Cody goes heel. Punk tries to use it to his advantage. It ends up being Cody and Cena at WrestleMania. I don't see Cody going heel.
Nah, not yet.
There's no reason for it. I think if he loses the belt for some way,
I can see that Rock versus Cena for the last match.
I
Nice
think
nostalgia match.
I think that would be nice and fitting.
Yeah.
Final match can go either nostalgic for his big win or putting over an amazing talent.
See, I don't think he'd have a problem doing. I don't think Cena would have a problem doing either. And that's why I said I one last run and maybe putting somebody huge over for the belt.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right. Well,
That's
we
it.
ran it down. Royal Rumble 2025. Did you guys catch the post show? No, we are the post show. We've been live since WrestleMania went off the air. We've been live for 2 hours and 6 minutes, probably
No,
longer than the post show.
Royal Rumble Day. If we were live since WrestleMania went up
Oh,
there,
yeah.
we would have been on here for a year.
Yeah, how about that? Well, that could happen too. You never know. There you go. Royal Rumble 2025 in the books. Next up, Elimination Chamber. Actually, next up, Monday Night Raw. You might catch us back here Monday night after Raw if Santa is awake, if I'm awake. Not going to be awake.
No, I got to go back to my my morning routines.
Oh, fuck those routines.
Got to pay the bills. Got to pay the bills.
I hear you. So, anything else you want to add before we hop off here? Call it a night?
Don't you have something to plug?
Of course I do. That's why I was asking you first.
I was going to add to that don't forget,
Oh, okay.
the TWA, because you are not only going to have one Hall of Famer, but two Hall of Famers at that show. There's the balloons.
How'd you do it?
I don't know. Oh, no, I got confetti. So you have two Hall of Famers.
Not only do we have one Hall of Famer, we have two Hall of Famers.
And it's the one
Why
Hall
don't
of
it work
Famers
for me?
first public signing. So just letting you know.
Wait,
So
which one? Which one?
Santa Kringle's first public signing.
Oh, that Hall of Famer. So we have multiple Hall of Famers.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
Yeah. No, we got more than that.
Oh,
Look,
Medusa.
Let me like run down real quick.
I'm a bigger star than her.
We have Ric Flair,
That's one.
Rock and Roll Express,
Oh, I forgot about that.
Medusa,
Okay.
that might be it.
Santa
What? Tony Atlas is Hall of Fame, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
4. Mr. Ulala.
ECWA Hall of Fame.
There you go. I'll take it. 5. So there you go. Yeah, some others, but
None bigger than the International Santa Claus Hall of Fame.
There you go.
Just saying.
So May 3rd, TWA invades the 2300 Arena. WrestleCon from noon to 3:30, with stars like Ric Flair, Rock and Roll Express, Medusa, many, many others. And then that night, bell time 7:30, doors open at 6. TWA's final show ever after 35 years, 35-year reunion. One night, one time only, one and done. 8 matches, a couple other situations in the midst, which we have our banner to we need, oh yeah, it's jumping up. I love it. All right, we are up to, for our banner, if you're following, to raise to the rafters to pay tribute to Johnny Hotbody, Tony Stetson, Mad Dog DC Drake, the late great legend Larry Winters, and Joel Goodhart. We need 1,000 signatures. We're up to 860.
Can you smell it? You're that
I
close,
smell it,
that
baby.
close, that
I
close.
smell it. I smell it. We're getting there. Can't wait. Can't wait. It's going to be, as Bill says, it's a star-studded show. He's going to be there live at the show. TWA one and done. Great wrap up, guys. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for everybody, man. You guys were
yeah,
great tonight.
I love all the participation, the comments.
Yeah,
It
that's what it's
really,
about.
yeah, it makes it fun. We could babble on, but the fact that everybody else babble along with us makes it even more
Yeah.
fun.
I just like that, like, we got wrestling fans and they understand where we're coming
Smart
from.
ones.
Yeah, it's like people who love wrestling. I mean, everybody always says to me, "Why do you watch everything?" And I'm like, "Because I still love it." And yeah, it's not what we used to watch, and sometimes it's just downright just not good. But there's them moments when you catch something that's good, and you're just like, you know what, this, you know, I mean, it's never happened on AEW, but I'm hoping.
Well, actually, I wish I had the time and was able to watch every show. And I wish that we can come on here and actually sit and discuss every show and recap every show. But
I do want you to do one thing when you have a chance.
okay.
Just watch one of the AEW shows.
Okay. So God's honest truth. I've never watched a full AEW show.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a couple matches here and there that like I heard about and I searched out and found maybe two matches over 5 years. One night we went to a local establishment and we're having dinner and they had AEW on TV and I was horrified at what I saw. I could not believe this was the product being put out because it it was bad. It was so bad. It was embarrassingly bad.
Their botches, like, they take them to a new level. I just never see, like, mistakes happen, botches happen.
Yeah, of course.
But dude, like, I remember I sent you one, and you were like, "Oh my gosh, we would have got our asses kicked for
Oh, with
that one."
Jericho. That was
Yeah.
going around. Yeah, you sent me the one with Jericho 2 weeks ago. I could not believe. I said, "Is that Chris Jericho?" I couldn't believe what was going on in that ring.
And
Embarrassing.
that's every show.
Embarrassing. Disgrace.
And that dude thinks he's like putting out the greatest product.
I'm shocked at Jericho. Tony Khan, I'm not shocked at because I know he doesn't know what he's doing. But hey, look, I found out TNA's offices are here in Nashville. I am going to say this again. I'm available if you want to talk to me. Hey. But Gianni Martello, who will be there May 3rd, this is our official belt guy who helped us get the deal to get the TWA belts. We have 7 TWA belts left for sale, $279.95. One of them could be yours. Raise the effing banner, please, Bay. How many more do we need? And as I just said, 140 more signatures.
Please say that price again.
$279.95.
Just make it 280.
Well, the funny thing was, Joel said just charge $279, and I made it $279.95. He said, "Why do you do that?" I said, "Well, who the fuck? Why $279? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but
either
you're
like
just as dumb.
$279.95, $279. Yeah, just make it $280. Come on." They should be $350. Honestly, these belts are nice. They're freaking amazing looking. Yeah, they're the old TWA belts and we added on each side. We on one side we put the banner
Hmm.
that's going to be raised at the arena, and on the other side, what was it on the other side, Johnny? I forget. I got the pictures. I forget.
I'll tell you
But
what. Anybody who buys a belt, I'll sign it for free.
there you go. AEW is a hard watch these days. Worst match ever in AEW, the exploding death match. That was sad.
Oh, that was the greatest thing ever.
Send me a link for the banner signing. I'll spread it around my. All right, I'll send it to you on Facebook if it allows me. Um, if it Facebook has blocked me from sharing the banner link out, so just go to the website change.org and you can search my name or TWA. It's to raise a banner for these wrestling legends, something like that. It's called. Wait, I mean, let me just look real quick and I'll tell you. Raise a banner to honor these 5 Philly wrestling icons. There you go. So there you go.
Oh, and real quick before we sign off, um, and I'm sure you will agree with this sentiment. Um, just want to say, everyone in Philly who was involved in that tragedy
Oh
with the
my
plane
God.
crash, um, you're in our thoughts
Horrifying.
and prayers. What I seen with like people, that's Philly, man.
Yeah.
You can rip on Philly all you want, and we always say no one likes us and we don't care. No one may like us, but we love each other,
Bingo.
and you know,
That's
just know
why
that
we are the city of brotherly love.
like everyone who was affected by that tragedy, because I don't know yet, but I'm still waiting to hear from some people who I um, have out there, and I'm hoping that I hear some good things. But I do know a lot of people out there, and the scary thing is, me and my brother were out there 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Literally, we were driving by, but we went right
Could
by
you?
where that plane hit.
Yeah. I mean,
It
could you
makes you. It
imagine?
makes you think. It makes you think.
Yeah. Totally.
So, just wanted to, didn't want to ignore that.
And not only that one, but also the one in DC the other day.
Yeah, yeah.
With the helicopter and the plane. Another sad, horrifying thing. Gianni said the other plate on the other side of the belt says we wrestled, we brawled, we started it all. That's what it is.
Great slogan.
Matt says those belts are absolutely awesome. AEW keeps Botchamania in business. Tony Khan is a lost puppy in football and wrestling. Love the comments. My heart goes out to everybody affiliate affected. Yeah, I mean, seeing all the videos of that, I mean, it was like a nuclear bomb exploded. You would have thought,
Yeah,
and
yeah. And that's
yeah.
a heavily populated area.
Oh my god! And it was like almost during rush hour when it happened.
And it was near, I think, Raising Cane's, which is they. I don't think they opened that not too long ago, so that was probably packed.
Well, it was literally right off Cotman, and it was
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
It was
No,
on Cotman, right off the boulevard, right at the old Roosevelt.
yeah.
We used to go there all the time with Janetti, to the Champs Arcade after
Well, that's
training.
where my old girlfriend lived with her family,
Right.
and like, they were good people, man, and I know they were like big. So I'm hoping that like I said, I have so many people down in that area, and I'm just hoping that everybody's
Right.
all right, man. But you know, Philly strong, brother.
That's it. That's it. All right, I'm gonna end it all. I want to thank you all, everybody. Amazing CWO for life, Chubby World Order. We're taking over, baby. You guys are amazing. I love you all. Thanks to Santa always. Sucks. You're not available Monday night.
No, I'm just gonna be pay-per-view, man. I gotta be, Hall of Famer, dude. I'm only a special occasion.
All right. Well,
You can't afford me all the time.
On that note, we'll talk to you soon. Get ready. Maybe I'll be back Monday night. You never know. And go Birds.